All right, we are live. How's it going, guys? Can you hear me? Say a few words, Mike.
Hello,
Please.
hello. Can you hear us?
Is anybody out there? I love Pink Floyd. It's amazing.
Oh God, comfortably numb. It needs to be played at my funeral. That's my
No,
life. That song is my life.
you ever
Pink
hear Eddie
Floyd.
Vedder's version with Eddie Vedder
God.
singing it?
Comfortably numb. It needs to be played at my
Oh,
funeral.
hold on.
That's not my life. That song is my life.
You ever
hear
hear
me?
Echo? There we go. Echo's gone. Perfect.
I've never heard Eddie Vedder's version. I'm going to seek it out immediately after we're
It's
done.
amazing, and it's funny. My dad really fell in love with it. My dad's not he was never a rock and roll guy. He grew up in Washington Heights and stuff. So it was disco and Motown and stuff where he grew up, and even like the few classic rock hits that were on the radio, but never was big into rock. And the first time he really heard "Comfortably Numb" was hearing the Eddie Vedder version of him singing it. It was at that remember the 12-12-12 event?
Yeah.
It was at that they performed.
Wow.
And he just kills it. I mean, Vedder's vocals and how he sings is unreal.
He's ridiculous. Yeah.
He has such a stunning voice, and Cornell too, which is so sad what happened with him. But we are talking Cactus Jack, guys. Which is, why don't you tell people a little bit about the film, Michael?
It is a story of a documentary filmmaker who decides he's going to do a little documentary on this loser middle-aged guy who lives in his mom's basement and refuses to go upstairs. And he sets it up and comes in there and realizes that he is in the basement with essentially the devil.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
And hijinks ensue after that.
They indeed do. I don't know. It's up to you if you want to talk spoilers later or just keep it spoiler free, because now it's viewable on Vudu.
Yeah, I'm good with spoilers. I don't care.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, wherever it goes. So how did you get into acting? I know you did some theater. Is that right? Yeah.
Yeah, I started doing theater when I was in high school, and then in the I'm an old person. I graduated high school in 1983, which I'm going to go ahead and guess is before you were born.
Yes, 88. I was 34.
And then in the 80s, though, in high school, I also had started writing songs and playing the guitar and stuff. And so through the 80s, it was music up until the mid 90s. I got some crazy music stories that you wouldn't.
I'm sure
you wouldn't believe. I was writing. Essentially, I was more a songwriter than anything else. And I started.
That was your specialty. It was writing and stuff over performing and technically playing.
Yeah. I when pressed, I can perform, but I prefer not to. I'm not. I feel like there are three different categories of people who play the guitar. Mm-hmm. There's guys who play some guitar, who are just
a little hobby on the side.
Yeah, they'll pick up a Harley Benton or something off of Amazon and they'll just fuck around with it.
Or a cheap few $100 acoustic and stuff.
Yeah.
And learn the chords and everything, of course.
Yeah, and they get excited when they can work through Mother by Pink Floyd or something, And then there's guitar players who essentially use the instrument to write or are rhythm guitar.
Yeah, use it as an expression to get.
Right. I consider Springsteen to be a guitar player.
That's a good example. Yeah.
Right. You ever hear him solo? It's the worst thing you've ever heard in your life. He cannot hit a note.
Technically great at guitar now.
He's a horrifying soloist, but he can write the fuck out of a song on the guitar.
Oh yeah, that's a gift in itself.
Yeah. And then there's guitarists.
Yeah. Yep.
Who are like Steve Vai or Eddie Van Halen or David Gilmour or Satriani, those guys.
Steve Howe from Yes. He's so
hell yes.
Yes. I grew up with progressive rock, with what I listened to, because my uncle was huge into it. So Yes, Rush, Genesis, Jethro Tull. All what I grew up with. And I used to come home.
Steve Howe. Have you ever seen? I watch this at least twice a month because I'm nuts. And there's a clip of at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I forget what year it was, but they're doing "While My Guitar Gently Weeps."
I have seen that.
And it's Steve Howe, and
Yep.
it's Jeff Lynne, and it's Tom Petty, and it's
Tom Petty,
George Harrison's kid, and it's Prince.
It was such a great lineup of musicians and stuff, man.
And Steve Howe does the first solo in the song, and that should be able to stand alone. But then Prince walks out, and it's like, oh, okay, Prince is here.
Explodes. Yeah,
fuck everybody else.
He's
Steve Howe is so underappreciated.
He really is, and just the way that he's like one of my biggest influences in my playing and guitar and stuff, especially with like finger picking and flat picking and stuff. That's what like taught me that was basically Steve Howe. And then like speed playing and stuff was Dream Theater. Was my John Petrucci was. I used to come home from high school pretty much every day for the whole 4 years. You remember those 6 CD changers, the little box, and you'd push a button, the tray come out, you could put 6 CDs in. I would come home, and depending on the day, it would be different bands. I'd throw Grateful Dead full shows in and play full through. I would do Dream Theater a lot, though, and I would take images and words all the way to like Train of Thought and just play straight through all 6 albums. And that was my practice every day. Like, just playing straight through like 6 hours worth of music. Iron Maiden, I was huge into. And Maiden, because I'm a perfectionist and OCD like that, I can't just play David Murray's parts. So I would play a Maiden album twice. I would play all Murray's parts through the album, and then I would play what's the other guy's name? Adrian Smith's parts during another playthrough, and the harmonies that they came up with was just absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
Hey, Chris, what's going on, man? He was just saying something about Steve Howe's solo on America, probably one of his best. America is a great cover that they did. That was on the re-release of Close to the Edge. I'm pretty sure. Hey, what's going on? How you doing, man? Good to see people popping in.
Nice.
Always tap the music.
All right. So I've never been a guitarist. Like I can't solo. But I write on the guitar. I decided I wanted to be a rock star when I first saw. Oh, you can't see it. These guys, Cheap Trick.
Oh, Cheap Trick, nice.
All I wanted in the world was to be Robin Zander from Cheap Trick.
Not a bad dream.
Yeah, he was the coolest guy in the world. Just saw them opening for Rod Stewart earlier this summer. Still great. Fucking amazing. Rod Stewart too, who's like 111.
I know.
Still,
it's amazing how the dead can walk around like that nowadays.
Yeah.
111 years old, they're walking still. So
I did that in the 80s. I was in music, and I wrote songs with a bunch of different bands and formed a couple of really horrible bands myself, but mostly wrote for other people. And one of the bands that I wrote with got the attention of, being a music guy, maybe you'll recognize the guy's name, Sid Bernstein, who is the guy who brought the Beatles and the Stones to America.
Yep.
He set up the Shea Stadium Beatles show in 1964.
Okay, yeah. The Beatles are my favorite band of all time.
Well, Sid Bernstein had heard about this band that I was writing with, and he loved the songs, and he loved the band, and he signed the band, and he took out a full-page ad in the New York Times announcing that he had found like the next Beatles. This is 1990 that this happened. And it was a crazy wild ride. I ended up moving to Nashville and everything, and finally got out of music and tried to be a normal person for a few years, and that didn't really work out. I was a private investigator for a great number of years and did criminal defense work and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah, nice. That's what I was instantly interested in when Al and me were talking, and he was telling me about the film that he was about to watch and review it and stuff, and then when he was going to have you on his channel and stuff, and just your background is so diverse of the things that you've done, and they're all things that my favorite forms of entertainment. Like music is my life, After that is film, like specifically horror, but film in general. And after that is stand-up comedy, which I know you're a stand-up
Love
comedian.
stand up. Yeah.
Unless that comes real soon, continue with what happened after. Did you keep in contact with what's his name?
Sid.
Yeah,
Sid Bernstein. I didn't really. The band broke up, and my writing partner and I kept at it for a while, and then I have a tendency to like run away from things. So when things start to be good, I run.
You kind of like it's too good to be true, and you kind of yell about
it's like, how am I going to fuck this up? Let's not find out. I'll just stop right now.
I'm the same exact way. I know what you mean.
So I did that and went back to school to be a cop. I decided I was going to be a cop, and
can't see that just after watching it in Cactus Jack,
Yeah, well, I grew up on Starsky and Hutch in the 70s. I just wanted to be Starsky. I wanted to kick indoors and be a cool undercover cop. What I didn't realize is that before you get to do that, you have to be the cop giving people speeding tickets, and stuff like that. So I lost interest in that very quickly, and then I got into stand-up. And
so how did that come around? Getting into it,
I had left a corporate job and had a little bit of money from my parachute, from my stock options from the job, and I decided to start a publishing company. I was going to have a like a magazine, like like a free entertainment kind of a based magazine. And I took a part-time job just to kind of make ends meet in the meantime, as the door guy at this nightclub where on Thursday nights they had a comedy open mic.
Okay.
And I would go after I was done with my shift and I'd watch the show. And I loved stand-up. I'd always loved it. I loved George Carlin growing up. Bill Cosby.
You're talking about
Bill Cosby before the Cosby Show, like when he was just doing comedy, was fucking stunning. Bill Hicks, those guys.
So good. Yeah. Mitch Hedberg is
Mitch Hedberg.
That was so tragic.
Just a ridiculous writer, Mitch Hedberg. My God.
The mind he had.
Yeah.
Come up with all those jokes. And Jesselnick is my second favorite comedian. And you mentioned he's a favorite of yours too now.
Yeah.
He reminds me of just a very dark Hedberg.
Yeah. Yeah. I can see that.
With more of the left turn at the end, like for the punchline.
Yeah,
more of like the surrealism and stuff to his jokes.
Like, rice is for when you want 2,000 or something, and then you rape a baby. Is how Jesselnick.
That would be Jesselnick's.
Yeah. So I decided I wanted to try stand up, working at that club, seeing the open mic, because at an open mic, a lot of the people suck, kind of. Oh, they're just guys who are funny at work, and their buddies are all like, "You should go to an open mic and do stand-up."
Comedian,
right? So I started writing.
Okay.
And I approached stand-up the same way I approached music. You don't just show up at a bar.
Makes perfect sense.
You don't go out and buy a guitar and then show up at a club and go, "Hey, let me play."
Practicing,
right? You learn the instrument, you learn some songs, or you write some songs. Yep. You get good at it, and then you can do it in public.
You build a set list after you have everything. You prepare. You have it perfectly prepared.
So that's what I did with stand-up.
Great thought.
And I didn't want to go up and be like, "Oh, yeah, the door guy is kind of amusing." Yeah. So I wrote for a solid year.
Like work that you put into it, like pay off. Yeah,
exactly. I wrote for a solid year before I ever got on stage.
Yeah.
So I had like a notebook full I had like an hour of material before I ever tried doing it. And so I was good right away and just kept at it.
You had that year of practice that you're just hardcore practicing writing and everything that I probably had it so down pat.
I would do it in the mirror. I would do it into a tape recorder. I was just going to ask,
how did you practice?
The whole thing.
Yeah. Mirrors.
And then I just started doing it, and within a few months, I was lucky enough to have headliners start taking me out to be the feature act, and that was in 2001 that I started that, and it just kind of I been doing it I don't do it as often as I should. Movies and stuff have kind of gotten in the way, but anytime I can, I love to get back and do it.
That's great, man. That's like I said, we were talking earlier and stuff, that I've always wanted to try stand up just because I listen to it every day, basically.
There's
like
nothing like it.
Just to start your day well, you know, there's nothing like just throwing a Carlin show on, or Hedberg, or any of them, you know, or Jesselnick, if you want like a nice dark start to your day. Like,
yeah.
Like I have a dark sense of humor, so like that's why Jesselnick and Stanhope just work perfectly for me, because I just have that dark, sick sense of humor. And I think a lot of like musicians and artists and stuff that have to have, kind of.
Yeah. Well, the thing about being an artist of any kind, is that is whether it's an actor or a stand-up or a writer or a thank you, Geek Pulse Horror. You're great too. You have to be kind of normal people. One of their biggest fears, aside from death, is like public speaking.
Oh yeah, oh for sure.
So to need that, like I need that.
Yeah,
I need to be in front of people. I need people like Geek Pulse Horror telling me Cactus Jack is great.
Oh yeah, I know what you mean. Yep.
And that's
it's
not
so
a good
rewarding.
thing.
Rewarding.
That's fucked up wiring in a person's head where they require that.
It's for sure.
It is, because most people don't want attention put on themselves, but to pursue a life where it's like, hey, look over here, look what I'm doing.
Yeah, look at me.
It's kind of messed
up.
No
training wheels, no hands. You know.
Yeah, it's kind of messed up.
Yeah, but you know what? I think that balances our artistic side with that. You know what I mean? Like that's the flow we get, but we get the artistic musician, if you're a musician or an artist, or for the other side.
Yeah, I mean, having the ability. If you look at some of the people who have been like the most insanely talented people that we've heard of, right? They're all severely broken.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you can't be Michael Jackson and be happy.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You can't affect strangers that way, and
not go be by yourself that night, and then look at yourself and be by yourself and be happy with that.
Yeah, it's a give and take.
Yeah, all your attention and like reward system and stuff is from being around other people and being around fans and people who adore you and stuff. So when you're finally away from all that, your mind craves it.
Yep.
You know, and it kind of, I get what you mean. It's kind of, it's like it's like uncomfortable in your own skin, kind of.
Yeah, broken people are the ones who want to entertain you. The writers, and that's why most writers kill themselves.
Yeah,
because they're fucking broken to begin with, and this is their only outlet.
Yeah, and it's tragic when that happens, because you look how many artists, all types of artists, kill themselves, or with drugs come into play, overdose, and we were just saying Chris Cornell and stuff.
Cornell, Prince. I was a huge fan of Prince.
I never got big into Prince, honestly.
Just as a guitarist, man.
He's a great guitarist.
Fucking stunning.
He's very unique too. He's a very unique guitarist. Like Zappa is a very unique guitarist. I'm a huge Frank Zappa fan.
Even his kid, even Dweezil.
I saw Dweezil. What was it? Zappa Play Zappa, and they did the whole Apostrophe and Overnight Sensation albums.
Nice.
Like fantastic, man. It was so good. And Dweezil sounded amazing. Sounded just like his father.
Yeah, but you don't want to spend 10 minutes in a room with him. He's probably just an absolute twat.
Exactly. But just, that safe distance of being, nice music. I'm watching a stage. I'm, in my seat. Good situation to be in. But, like you said, you get too close. It's like getting close to a tiger.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is a great way to kind of explain the character of Cactus Jack. You get too close. And so what movie, when you started getting into films and stuff and acting, how did that come about from doing stand-up?
You want to know the true story or the story I tell in interviews?
Let's get both. Don't tell me which one's which. I'll guess at the end. Fun with it.
I was doing stand-up full-time. I had quit my job. And, Jason Thornton, you're a fucking...
Hey, Jason. Thanks for joining us, man. Means a lot, and he is a genius. And that's totally a great guy to talk to, man. We got a lot in common.
I was doing stand up and I had quit a pretty good paying job to do stand up full time. My boss,
yeah, you're saying a corporate job.
Yeah, my boss pulled me aside and was like, "You got to make a choice, man. You can't keep taking off all the time to go on the road." So I made the choice and ended up making a third of the amount of money that I had been making in my real job.
But it's what your passion was.
Exactly.
And that's what matters in the end.
Exactly. So there comes a point when you're doing stand up as a no name on the road where you can only get so far without like TV and movie credits.
Yeah. Mitch Hedberg used to say that.
Yeah, what movie have you been in? What have you been in? Where have I seen
you? When you're a comedian, they don't want you to be something else. It's like I trained being a boxer. It's like, oh, can you farm? Like,
exactly.
Oh, great. Yeah, they always want you to do something different.
Yeah, Dustin Diamond, the guy who played Screech on Saved by the Bell, used to sell out fucking comedy clubs, and he could not tell a punchline to save his life.
Yeah, I've heard.
People wanted to be in the room with him because he was famous.
Oh yeah.
So I decided to start doing movies and little movies, and it just kind of went from there. One led to another, and I loved it, and the feedback was, you know, people have been kind to me in reviews and when they talk about the stuff I've done and things. So
you deserve it, man. I mean, you are phenomenal in Cactus Jack.
Thank you.
What was the first movie that you did? The first like actual like major, not major like big, but first film that you actually did.
The first
what did you play?
Film I did was a short by an award-winning filmmaker named Tate Bunker here in Milwaukee, it was this weird short called Percival. And Mark Metcalf, the guy who played the master on Buffy the Vampire Slayer, he was the maestro on Seinfeld. He's Niedermeyer.
I'm a huge Seinfeld fan.
Yeah, he was in Animal House. He was Niedermeyer, the asshole.
Oh, he's been in a lot of things.
Yeah, he's been in a ton of shit, and he was in that as well. And so I saw it as an opportunity to like kind of in the 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon world, tie myself to someone.
Exactly.
You know?
Tether yourself a bit.
Exactly. And then I wrote and produced and played the bad guy in a feature in 2009. And it just kind of has kept going. And Cactus Jack is the first thing that anyone's really sort of paid attention to. Yeah.
I would love to see some of those older films and stuff. I have a feeling that you probably play the bad guy in movies a lot.
Yeah. The only time I haven't been a bad guy.
Yeah.
The only time I haven't been a bad guy is in there's this brilliant comedian here in the Milwaukee market who is also a puppeteer, and he makes his own puppets.
Okay.
He wrote and directed and put together and made all the puppets and scenery for a full-length feature.
Wow.
All puppets, comedic version of Moby Dick.
Dude, that's brilliant.
Yeah.
That's great.
And I play Queequeg in it, the second lead, and it's the only time I wasn't a bad guy.
Wow.
Yeah. That's everything else, I'm always the bad guy or a bad guy.
It's got to be much more fun. Like as a kid, with I was obsessed with Star Wars. Darth Vader all the time.
Yeah, Luke Skywalker's a pussy. Darth Vader is the guy.
He wants to be fucking Kenobi or Skywalker. They want to be the evil ones.
Yeah.
Because how often in life do you get to be evil?
Exactly.
Like you're pretending.
Exactly. It's all show.
I think that's the reason why some people gravitate towards wanting to be the bad guy or play that. If they're actors, they play bad guys and stuff. It's just something you don't get to do in everyday life.
Exactly.
So you get to experience something that most people don't really get to experience. So leading to Cactus Jack. So how did that come about and start? Hey Al, what's going on?
Al.
Glad you can join, brother.
In 2015, early on in 2015, the Thorntons Jay and Chris
Yeah.
got in touch with me, and they said they had this idea, and it wasn't fleshed out. They had some general ideas, but they knew they wanted this small sort of contained,
Like a bottleneck.
yeah,
Episode, you know, the TV show, they call it a bottleneck. It takes
Yeah.
place in one sitting. Yeah, like it does feel like that. It is that.
yeah, and they described the character to me, and I thought I loved Otto and George.
Yeah.
I loved Otto and George. You suck that dick. You suck that cock. Yeah, fuck yeah, Otto
Great.
and George.
Chris here is he's like one of my oldest subs since I started. He's
Awesome.
stuck with me this whole time, the 5 months plus or so. So good to see you again, Chris. As always.
Hey, Chris. Yeah, when he passed, that was very sad.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like I said, when Carlin passed, that was like the only celebrity really that I teared up.
Yeah.
Just like how much I idolized Carlin, like since I was a kid.
Oh God, yeah.
He
Oh
died.
God.
So sad.
Yeah.
That hit hard. That one.
I remember growing up when I was a kid in the 70s, my dad had the Class Clown album.
With the 730 words you can't say on television. So
yeah. And I used to listen to it. I wasn't allowed to. That and Old Red Fox. If you ever heard any Old Red Fox stand up, he was fucking
not really.
amazing.
I gotta check him out then. Absolutely.
He was one of the filthiest comedians you've ever heard in your life. And, yeah, great stuff. Great
stuff. I love them. Like I said, dark sense of humor and stuff.
Yep. Lenny Bruce.
Always work. Lenny Bruce is fantastic.
Yeah.
And you said you like Doug Stanhope, right?
Yeah. Oh, I love Stanhope. Yeah.
So
absolutely.
I think he's the greatest living comic today. Like, and he's
not.
Awesome. He's so he's like a comedian's comedian. Like all the big comedian, Bill Burr. I've even heard an interview with Bill Burr with somebody, and then they brought up Stanhope, and Bill Burr's like, "Yeah, I know he's a genius. I know he's better than me. He's better than everybody. Like, there's 10,000 clubs, you know, in the comedy clubs in the country. He's playing 999,000 of them, or whatever it was, like that. He's played all of them, and he has like that. He's had a crazy life, man."
Yeah, and he lives in some like weird ass fucking commune in Arizona.
Yeah, Bisbee, Arizona.
Yeah, which is like a commune town.
Yeah,
it's like where outlaws go.
It's where you could perfectly view him being, though.
Yeah, like, perfectly. Yeah.
Like it's the perfect fit for him.
That's exactly where he belongs.
Yeah, Stanhope. Yep. That's where you live for sure. Like, and if you don't, I'm buying you the house because that's where you deserve to live. Like, 100%.
Yeah.
So when Cactus Jack started getting going, when did you really start like realizing the role that you had to approach here, like, and how intense that it was going to be?
From the first photo shoot we did, which as I told you off air was on Hitler's birthday.
Yeah.
2015. It was a black and white photo shoot, and
Jason likes Stanhope.
Of course he does, because Jason's fucked up and nuts.
Awesome.
They made it really clear what the vibe was, on this character.
Yeah.
Just in the still photo shoot.
That's impressive just in its own.
Yeah. And then it just kind of evolved from there. We started it by doing audio recordings.
Okay, for like his
rants.
Cactus Jack's rants and stuff. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and then Jay and Chris would edit together some imagery, and we put those on YouTube and stuff like that. And it just kind of went from there. And I would show up.
It fell into place organically, you would say, pretty much?
Yeah, it really did. There was never a structured script for the whole movie.
Yeah, that was a question I wanted to ask. Was there improvisation in the movie? I'm sure there was a little bit, right?
No.
Really?
Every word I said came from them.
That's genius then. Because I have a good ear usually for like if people are improvising, and there was a very few, but like a few lines here and there that I thought, I wonder if he improvised that. But that's great that it was all written like that. That amazingly written.
Yeah, but like storyline wise, the movie
Yeah.
we thought we finished the movie in 2018,
Mhm.
and they sat on it for a while. They put together a rough cut with no score, sent it
Okay.
out to a couple of festivals who obviously didn't accept it,
Yeah.
and
I wonder
and
why.
then right, and then sort of rethought it
They're lost.
and changed basically the second half of the film. In the original, here's the spoiler. In the original version, when Jack kills his mother, he
Mhm.
also kills the documentary filmmaker.
Oh, okay. That's a big change.
Yeah, and then
Absolutely.
he does the whole show thing, and then someone comes to get him at the end. When
Yeah.
he's after he
Uh,
does the "come and fucking get me" speech, someone
mhm.
comes and gets him and stuff.
And it's kind of left ambiguous. I'm
Right,
guessing, right? Like
right.
you know who it is just somebody offended, which is everyone. So it could be anybody basically.
Yeah, there's a big gunfight in the
Is
kitchen.
that
He goes
right?
upstairs, and then he stumbles down the stairs and dies on the stairs.
Because there is that scene with the guy with the mask that's threatening Cactus Jack.
Yeah, the anonymous guy. Yeah.
Yeah, if was that in the original cut, or was that after that was the second half? Okay,
Yeah.
because I was gonna say, I wonder if that's what it would imply that it was that guy who came and
In
got him, but he
my mind, it was always like a black guy who
makes
came to
sense.
get him.
I mean, with
But we
all the
never
shit he
shot
said,
that.
yeah,
It was always ambiguous. Like he hears a noise, he goes up the stairs, you hear gunfire, lots and lots of gunfire,
yeah,
and then he stumbles out and dies pathetically on the stairs like an insect.
yeah, which is
And that
what
was
he
the
is.
movie.
Yeah,
And then we all kind of talked about it, and they cooked up their poisonous lasagna of hate and decided we were going to expand the part of the filmmaker, which was a fantastic idea.
yeah.
Because I mean, I find myself fascinating and entertaining, but not as the only person in a movie.
No,
That's
yeah,
too
of
much.
course.
That's too much me.
Yeah, yeah, of course. You seem like that type of humble person. That you see everybody's talent. You know,
Yeah,
so you
and
got your talent in spades. You see everybody else's and give them their credit too, which is
Sam was
says a
amazing.
lot about someone's character. It does. It does.
Sam was incredible, and
No, he
expanding
was
his
great.
role was a fantastic idea.
Oh yeah,
And it just made the film
it
twice as
just
good.
felt like it fell into place even better, like with
Yeah.
that inclusion, that change. That's great. So now, how hard was it to get into the mind state of this character?
I was raised by, again, this was the 1970s. I was born in 1965.
Okay.
And I was raised by extremely racist parents
Okay.
who, in my house, they threw the N word around a lot.
Like it was
And
nothing. Yeah.
yeah. And so I
Hard.
knew
Yeah, you're exposed to it so much.
that. Yeah, I knew those people. I knew who Jack was,
Yeah.
but not quite that extreme. But I looked at it playing it. I just kind of looked at it like, do you dig Alice Cooper at all?
Oh yeah, love Alice
Okay,
Cooper.
I
He's
looked
great.
at it like that. Like,
Okay, yeah, how he can go on and be just terrifying.
yeah, off stage he's
And he's
Vince,
the
and
nicest guy
he's the
ever.
son of a minister, and he plays golf.
Yep. That's a great analogy. That's
But
great.
when the lights come up and it's great and starting to go, he's Alice Cooper and he's the devil.
Yeah. No, yeah. It must be amazing though to have, like I said earlier, to have that ability
Yeah.
to just go out or go onto a set or go onto a stage or stuff and just become and be someone completely different than yourself for whatever amount of time, and then walk off. But now that's the part when you walk off and out of the role for the day. How hard was that? Because I would imagine it had to be pretty decently hard.
It's some of it stays with you. Yeah.
Yeah, I can
I mean,
imagine.
it's because there are really people like that.
That's what hits home about this movie.
Right, and it's fucked up to leave set and
then be
go
thinking, yeah,
about your
I'm
day
gonna be
thinking,
playing
this
what
is how people are.
yeah, yeah. The original ending was a static shot, like 8 minutes long, on the empty basement as this heat level, insane gunfight takes place off screen. Then Jack stumbles out and dies on the stairs. Oh, yeah, it sounds cool.
It was cool. It was
I
cool.
love the ending and of, like you said, of including what's his name again? The other character,
Sam.
Sam. Yeah,
Chris
yeah.
in the movie Sam.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I meant. The character's name, Chris, the documentary guy. Now, would you consider this movie a found footage movie?
I
You
would.
can answer this too, Jason.
I
Yeah,
would.
yeah, that's how I kind of looked at it too. Because, like we were saying earlier, like I don't really consider this a horror film, like in the traditional sense at all. It's
The thing
more,
that's cool about it is like those insane fucking brilliant Thornton brothers. I feel like kind of created a whole new genre of horror. It's
I would
horror.
agree.
They use the phrase horror of rhetoric,
Okay,
horror of
it had
ideas.
a feel to this movie that I'd never seen before. Really, like it is very different.
Yeah.
It's a style and a feel all to its own. And this was all shot on a phone, if I'm remember correctly, right?
With the exception of
like a scene or two, a shot or two.
There's the scene where Ronald calls into a radio show and he's talking to Al.
Absolutely, Al.
Where he calls into a radio show and is talking to a male DJ.
Yeah. Yep.
He calls into a talk radio show and he's talking to the host. Mm-hmm. That scene was very expensive and was shot with a full crew.
Okay.
Lit the whole thing. And
did it have to do with the lighting and stuff like that made that?
There was a lot of lighting. There was, and
being that bit dark basement and stuff, I'm sure, that's probably why you used good lighting and made sure everything was just perfect for that scene.
Right. And no
shots in that scene.
Yeah, it's great.
Work,
it's a beautifully shot scene.
Yeah.
But it didn't really fit with the tone of the story that we were trying to tell.
Mm-hmm.
So Jay decided to scale it back, and it was essentially for 98% of the shoot. It was me and Jay in his basement with some weed and some wine for me, and donuts and coffee,
and phone,
and a phone. Yeah,
that's amazing, man. Like, both of you, that's unreal. Like, to be able to make such a just like you said, new feeling movie that just nothing feels like this. Nothing I've seen feels like this movie.
Yeah, I'm super. A
lot of it has to do with the Thorntons, but a lot of it has to do with your performance, man. Like 100%.
I keep saying this to people. I keep saying this, and I will say it until I'm not allowed to speak.
Okay.
None of that is even close to being possible without those words.
Yeah. Oh, of course.
I mean, my God. Like you asked me about improvising. There wasn't a word of improv in there. I said what Jay put in front of me, and a lot of times I didn't know what I was going to be doing until I got set that day.
Do you like that? Like that little surprises?
I love it. I hate rehearsing. Yeah. I don't like learning lines. I don't like rehearsing.
Seeing it, grabbing it, and going out.
Boom, let's go. Yeah,
that's how I am with music and stuff too.
Exactly.
I guess it adds to the thrill a bit for me. I guess
it does. It's like doing stand-up.
Yeah, yeah, or like just improvising or music and stuff like that. Like it's like no plan. Let's just feel it and let it come. Let the music come out.
Yep.
Or the acting come out. So, got to be awesome feeling to get that like script for the day. And look at it and be like, oh, I didn't expect any of this. Like, I can be saying and doing all this now, huh? Like, that's great.
That's where the weed came in. That's
that works.
Right? He'd load up a bowl for me and he'd go, okay, read this over a couple times and then let's shoot it. And
that's great.
Okay.
So, I'm sure, how many people in the chat here have seen the movie? I know Al has, obviously. Chris, you haven't seen it yet, have you?
Why not, Chris?
Yeah, Chris, come on, man.
It's free on
My
Voodoo.
#1 fucking follower. And you should have seen my review. You should have seen me linking Al's review and interview with him later.
Son of a
What's your
bitch.
Yeah, exactly right. We can rag on Chris if he's even here still. What was he saying though? There's a YouTube video from a Cincinnati music festival in 1970, before Alice Cooper was famous, still under Zappa's record label. Alice got hit with a pie from the audience. I've heard that. He never stopped.
Nice.
Yeah, he never stopped.
Nice.
Oh yeah, I could see him being like that. Oh, he's here. Nope, sorry. You got to check it out, man. The link's in the. Oh, everybody in here. The link to watch it on streaming on Vudu is in the description. All social media for Michael here is in the description. All information for the production company was it Bayview Entertainment in the description. My review for it is in the description. A whole bunch of stuff down there. So before you leave, when we're done, check the description out if you want to find anything else more, basically, about this movie, or more importantly, watch it. Like 100%.
Definitely check it out.
It is definitely one of the most unique movies I've seen in a long time. And we were talking a few weeks ago or so about, after I reviewed it, of how this is probably going to definitely be taken the wrong way by a decent amount of people.
It has been.
I've seen IMDb stuff.
When we did our premiere, we did an online premiere because, COVID. We did an online premiere last January, in January of 2021. And after that, there were a lot of reviews on like IMDb and Letterboxd and Metacritic and Rotten Tomatoes and shit. And interestingly, like my concern, and I know Jay was concerned about this to a certain extent, but I was really concerned that liberal people were going to just dismiss it. And just say this was hate speech trash.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's been the opposite.
To be extreme right propaganda or something like that.
But it's the opposite.
Oh, like we said.
The people who are giving the really bad reviews are alt-right people who feel
saying we're being stereotyped,
out.
Blown up.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I can see that 100%.
So good. Hate it. Fuck you. It's not for you.
Exactly. If it's not for you, it's not for you. I say that on my channel all the time. If you don't like me for some reason, my sense of humor, my jokes, and it's not the channel for you. Fuck off. Go somewhere else.
Yeah, exactly.
That's who I am. And all you can be is who you are. And when you can enjoy who you are, I think that's a great thing.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It's not too often that most people enjoy who they are. So it's special when you can finally feel that way about yourself. Yeah. And I'm sure a lot of your accomplishments in the past and stuff, with stand up and the acting and the theater and all that stuff, probably led to that, and like boost that up.
It doesn't hurt.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Hearing nice things about yourself doesn't suck.
I'm sure. And it was just, I don't know how taxing it would be on me if I had to if I was an actor and I had to go in and play a role like that, because it definitely takes like a special fucking guy to play that role. And you're just perfect for it. Like every line of dialogue out of your mouth in the movie is him. It's just the most despicable shit you've ever heard, and you don't want to hear. But like I said in my review, you're trapped here. It's like you're like Chris, the documentarian, and you're trapped here in the basement with Cactus Jack. Whether you like him or not, whether it has nothing to do with politics, and that's the way I viewed it.
Yeah,
it's nothing to do with politics. It's just a character study on this Cactus Jack, on this one man. It's nothing to do with Republicans and Democrats, any of that. There's crazy people like this all over the world.
Yeah, he could have been a crazy BLM supporter.
Yeah, this is the story of one crazy person's life and existence and stuff. So I feel like that's where people won't get that. And it'll be too distracted by, if they're easily offended by the dialogue and the content of the movie and stuff, that'll just fly right over. And they, like you said, they'll look at it like either extreme propaganda from one side, or that they're being blown out of proportion on the other side, which is not, it didn't even cross my mind, the politics watching the movie. Like,
Yeah.
I don't care about politics. I don't really give a shit. So like that helps, I guess. But
Yeah.
my whole concentration was just on the lines and the writing and your acting and just the way the shots and the way it was shot on a phone. It's just
Yeah. Isn't that
unbelievable.
insane?
It's unbelievable. I didn't know until after I saw it. And when I think Al, you told me that it was shot on a phone, I was blown away by that. I was like, "Are you serious?" I was like, "That's fucking unbelievable." To like how to have it. This movie is a beautiful movie too. Like
It
obviously,
really
it's not
does
high
look
quality.
nice.
It
Yeah.
looked great. Like, and I love movies like that. That they look great, like cinematography wise, the way it's shot, the atmosphere and everything. But then the content is so disturbing that it juxtaposes with it so well. And I know an example of that is like Cannibal Holocaust. I don't know if you ever saw Cannibal Holocaust.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have such a beautiful score in that movie. It's such a beautiful piece of music, like just real melancholy. And Al knows what I'm talking about. We did a top 10 favorite scores in horror history stream a little while back, and we both mentioned that in our honorable mentions. But the way that score contrasts with what's in the film with these cannibals and stuff and eating these documentary crews alive and like mutilating them and stuff, like it adds like a surrealism to it.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
a surrealist feel to it. And
I'm so happy with the score for Cactus Jack.
Oh, the score
as
is
well. It's
excellent too.
God, it's
And
beautiful.
it's not overused. It's used right at the right moments. Like excellent job with the score. Like everything with this movie. I can't think of anything negative really with this movie. And I don't know if you know if I told you my channel and stuff like because of my love for stand up comedy basically I inject a lot of comedy into my videos and stuff so that way it's half comedy and jokes and stuff and stupid observations like this would never happen, like get the hell out of here, or what type of stupid decision is this, like funny little things like that to point out because I've done that my whole life since watching movies with my father growing up. It was like our thing and it just stayed with me my whole life of just nitpicking movies. But there's a few movies now and then that I just can't really nitpick anything, and this is one of them. Like when I was watching it, and I look for that shit. Like, trust me, when I'm watching, I'm like, all right, let's see. I'm looking all over the screen. I'm like, all right, let's see if nothing makes sense here and stuff, or anything that I can that don't look good, or this nothing. Like, it's such a great experience.
Same watching this thing. It's the only criticisms I have of Cactus Jack are performance related. Like I watch it and go, "Oh God,
yeah."
Why did I say that line like that?
Watching yourself, like and I'm sure you're the same way with music. I'm the same way with music. And everything you write, it sounds good. Then you replay it or listen to it. And it's like I could have done better.
Yeah,
but that's every time. Like it's never good enough.
Exactly. But like I was saying off air, when I watched it on Vudu with ads recently, this was like last week. It was the first time I ever watched it just as a movie, and it sucked me in. It did. Like, and I'm the guy in it.
And I was just I was just going to say too, that's unreal that you're the main star of this movie, and it sucked you in. So that says something right there.
Yeah, they did a brilliant job. Everybody involved.
Absolutely. And Jason, like I've never heard of you guys before, but trust me, I'll be watching you guys like a hawk your career after this because
we're already working on follow-ups. We're already working on the next stuff. So
great, and I can't wait. That'll be absolutely excellent to see because this was just such a blast. This movie, and like we were saying, like I can totally see a decent group of people that would hear someone say this movie's a blast to watch, and they're fucking crazy. Like you're as sick as Cactus Jack, but I guess it's just how we are, Like we just have to. Some people can just laugh at that crazy shit.
That's definitely not a movie people are going to watch several times or anything.
Yeah, it's kind of like this is one of my favorite movies, but it's one that I can't watch too often. Is Requiem for a Dream, Darren Aronofsky. One of my favorite films, but I can't watch it. And one of the greatest scores in a movie ever.
Yeah,
like the Kronos Quartet, and the Kronos Quartet, and unbelievable score in that movie. just the way it's used, and Aronofsky's shots and just like the fast cuts and stuff of in certain scenes. And Ellen Burstyn not winning the award for that movie is one of the biggest travesties in history. She lost it to Julia Roberts in some bullshit movie. That's a crime, man. Like,
you know what I want to be? I want to be at a Roberts family Thanksgiving where Eric Roberts is sitting there, not holding his tongue from saying, "I'm the fucking talented one in this family, bitch." It's forever going to piss me off that Eric Roberts and Julia Roberts have the careers that they've had, because he is the one who deserves all the everything.
And he's the one that sucked up everything.
Yeah.
It's weird when that happens. Like, it's undeserving, like, for sure. Jason, you got to bounce. Jump on Al's show. Much love, fellas. Gull, get a link from Al and jump in when you're done here. Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely, man. Have fun.
Definitely. We'll see you guys in a bit then. Cool. So what would you say what's your favorite scene in this movie, especially upon rewatching it freshly recently?
When someone wants to see an example, like a scene from it.
Okay. Yeah.
Or if I want someone to think I'm cool.
There you go. Yeah, exactly.
I will show them this scene where Jack is doing the rant that ends with taking the mask off, saying, "Come and fucking get."
That's such a great shot too.
That's my favorite scene.
What a great shot with the mask coming off and that line. That's such a great fucking shot. I love that.
Yeah, the music is rising up.
Yeah.
The words are getting more intense.
Just like I said, with the score is just. It's not overused. Like, that's a big thing with me in movies, especially like horror movies of the modern days, like from the 2000s on. It's just the overuse of score.
Yeah,
and you have too much music, and then there's no tension that you can build and stuff. You just got a score playing the whole time. It's much harder to build tension. But the way that they use the score in this movie is just masterful.
Yeah,
and just the right moments and the right rise in volume or decline in volume, and during the right shots. I can't believe how much work it must have been, how much creativity that took.
It's almost its own character with the score.
Yeah. It's exactly.
Yeah.
That's weird you said that, because that's how I feel about Requiem for a Dream. I actually did a video on that, said that too. I said it's like its own character. Nice. There's a few movies like that, like Halloween. John Carpenter.
Yes, the original, the first Halloween.
Oh, yeah. It's amazing. That whole score is brilliant. I actually did a guitar cover of the theme with my loop pedal and stuff on the channel a little bit ago. Nice. Yeah, every now and then I'll do some like guitar covers and stuff on the channel just to bring some music onto it, because I have an older channel that I used to upload guitar covers, and mandolin I play a bit, and bass, a little bit of piano, keyboards, and some other stuff, harmonica, auto harp, and stuff like that.
Wow, dude.
Yeah, I got an auto harp, like I think it was like at a garage sale or some shit for like $20. I was like, yeah, I'll learn it, whatever. Like, any like stringed instruments and stuff that doesn't have a bow, I can pretty much, I picked up. I tried violin. I said, fuck violin. I give them so much credit though, violinists.
Fuck it, play it with a pick.
Yeah, right? Yeah, just do it with a pick, right? That actually, I wonder how that would sound. Probably not that good.
Probably not bad. Yeah,
you could probably use it in some type of experimental music or something like that.
If Paige can take a bow, to a guitar, you can take a pick to a violin.
I can't argue with the logic, like, at all. So, how did Chris, the actor who played Chris, get cast? Was that like a quick thing, or did they go through a decent amount of people? Or?
No, Jay and Chris Thornton.
That was okay. Yeah.
No, they knew Sam.
Yeah, no, I'm saying Jay and then Chris are both the directors.
Yeah.
Are they brothers?
They are brothers. Yeah, Chris is the older brother. Jay is the younger brother. Chris lives in L.A. and Jay is in Milwaukee, and so unfortunately, Chris didn't have the opportunity to be on set more than a couple of times. But he was very involved. Like,
I'm sure with the
they would go over the writing and over the decision making and everything.
Yeah.
But they had worked with Sam on a short several years earlier
Oh, okay.
that they wrote and made. And Sam's the Milwaukee film market, I guess,
Mhm.
is pretty vibrant. There's a lot going on here,
Yeah.
and yeah, and Sam has been pretty active in it, and he's won various awards for things that he's done. He's a well regarded actor here in town, and it was exciting to be able to work with him.
What
He's
was the name of the short? And is it
it's
available
called,
anywhere?
I'm not sure where it's available, but it's called Deer Lights.
Deer Lights. Okay.
And
Year?
what?
You know the year that it came out?
2020 or 2021. It was
Oh, okay. So
after he
pretty
shot
recent.
his stuff for Cactus Jack.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. And
That's
actually, the writer and director of that short is the same writer and director of the feature that I did after Cactus Jack, The Undead and the Grimoire, the vampire movie.
the one you were telling me about. Yeah. And
Same guy who made that.
Oh, okay. Wow. Interesting. So
Yeah,
that's
a guy
cool.
named Brian Cleveland.
How it all like kind of follows itself. Like it's like a little crew.
Yeah,
Like,
the film community.
Stuff.
Yeah, the film community, no matter how small, whether it's the Milwaukee
Yeah.
market or Hollywood or whatever, is so incestuous.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. That's that. It's weird too. Like I guess it's that way with like a lot of like groups of people that have the same passion for something.
Yeah.
Because from the last 5-6 months of doing this channel, I've met some of the most amazing, nicest people. Like that have their own channels and do excellent content and stuff. And I've made some great friends on here and stuff. That like Al is a fucking amazing person. I wouldn't know that if I was doing this. It's just the people that you meet is like the biggest perk from doing this. Like 100%. Like when I started the channel, I said, I'm doing this for me. Like this is a passion project for me, just for my love of horror since I'm 5 years old when I first saw Halloween on Halloween night, and just was sucked in immediately. And was
that mindset, the doing it for you, I think is critical to being successful.
Oh yeah.
If you're doing something going, if you're playing music or whatever, saying I want to be rich.
Yeah, exactly. The wrong reasons. It's got to be coming from here, and from here.
Right.
Like 100%. I agree 100%. And it's sad though that you see a lot of people go down that path. A lot of them.
Why are you an actor? I want to be famous. Well, that's the reason you should never act.
Exactly. It should never be materialistic reason to be doing something. You do it because you love it.
Exactly.
And just like I said, being able to meet such great people just doing a YouTube channel is amazing. And just how tight-knit everybody is in this. Like, we'll go around, everyone shares their content and stuff and others' content and stuff. You look out for each other, basically, and help each other out. It's such a tight-knit community, too.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it's really, really fun. Like, I'm sure you can tell that from you were on with Al. Now you're on with me. I'm friends with Al. And now
and I'm seeing a couple of names.
A
couple of the names of the people who've commented here. I recognize from like Instagram and stuff like that. People associated with both of you. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's just how it all like crawls and works and finds itself together. Like it's really amazing how it works out that way. Now, what was you mentioned about like your parents and stuff when you were growing up and how they were racist, used the N-word and stuff like that. Did you use any of that as like to get into character or not really? Like, did you draw from that a little bit?
Okay.
A little method acting?
My mother was pretty mentally ill and extremely abusive to me throughout my life. And she passed when she passed in 2015, actually, right before we started actually shooting Cactus Jack, when we were still concepting it. The delivery of the way that Ronald and Jack talk in this thing was my mother. basically.
Oh, really?
I was playing my mother, essentially.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She was sort of a hateful person and acerbic and very just biting and very. It was a combination of that and here's my acting secret. This is my secret to acting.
All right. Let's hear it.
I'm always either playing a bastardized version of James Spader.
I fucking love Spader.
Fucking, he's Jesus to me.
We were just talking about him on. I was talking about him on some stream like a day ago, 2 days ago. I don't remember. But Spader came up, and we were talking about Boston Legal and the practice and stuff. And
I'm addicted to the Blacklist. I fucking love him so hard.
Amazing in everything.
I'll tell a James Spader story in a second. It's either a version of James Spader, or you ever see that? Remember the old cartoon version of the Jungle Book?
Oh yeah.
Cartoon
Absolutely.
one, the snake from the Jungle Book, Ka,
the
coming up.
That's awesome.
Coming up, slithering into it.
Yeah,
I'm always doing a combination of James Spader and
that's
Ka.
Amazing combination.
Kind of mixed together.
How'd you come to that combination that just naturally kind of came together weirdly? Or
because the combination of that is one of the scariest things to me.
That's true, actually.
Because James Spader is smarter than you are.
Oh yeah.
Whether he is or isn't, he may be a moron in real life. But when there's a camera in front of him, he's the smartest motherfucker.
Oh yeah, everyone's eyes is on him.
Whether he's right or wrong, he still dominates that shit.
And it's funny you said that now, because it's funny how you just said that though, because it's like despite what Cactus Jack says and stuff, I love the character just because you had the way you brought him to life.
He comes off as knowing what he's talking about. Like you find yourself, you're watching this thing, and he's doing a whole speech about black people not being human,
and not being the human race and stuff.
And you forget that he's just 1,000% wrong.
Yeah, exactly. He's so
and that's the whole thing.
And adamant in what he believes, and powerful with the way he projects his message and his beliefs and stuff that it takes you off guard. Like you said, it's like you kind of start to believe him a little bit, and then you realize, what the fuck am I talking about? This guy's crazy. Right. But you keep falling into that trap a little bit throughout the movie, and it's so effective. It's so effective.
That's all the writing, though.
That's some great horror in there. That's the horror? Is that he's such a charismatic character and such a deplorable character that you find yourself entranced listening to the rants and stuff, that you start slipping to that dark side for a second, and then you realize, oh shit, no. Like, what am I talking about? This guy's insane.
Women aren't worthless. What the fuck am I doing?
Yeah, exactly. It's like, I love women. What am I doing here? So it's like but then you find yourself falling there again. At some point, you pull yourself back, and that's great tension, and that's great horror.
Yeah,
just to find yourself possibly being able to agree with anything this person has to say is horrific to me. Like, and it's so well done. Like, I can't praise everybody who worked on this movie enough. Like, absolutely an amazing watch experience for that first watch. Like, absolutely. And I can't wait to see what you guys do next. Like, it's it's
going to be cool. It's going to be really cool.
I can't wait. Are you playing the vampire's a bad vampire? Bad guy vampire?
In the vampire movie?
Yeah, is that
that I did? Yeah, I'm a bad guy.
Yeah.
I'm
that's right. You only had the one good guy.
Worst guy.
Yeah. Sure. Probably for you, it probably is harder to play a good guy than a bad guy, right?
I wouldn't know.
Oh yeah, you just had that one role. Yeah.
I mean, I would love to, but would I? Because bad guys are fun.
Like you want it, Hey, Alexi, Spader's the only guy who can call Molly Ringwald a bitch. Yeah, that's true, man.
Exactly.
Perfect fucking comment right there.
Now, on the Spader thing.
Yeah. Oh, that story. Yeah, for sure.
So when you asked me how I got into acting, how I got into movies, and I said, do you want to hear the truth or do you want to hear the interview version?
Yeah.
The interview version is, I had been doing stand-up for several years and decided I needed to start doing films.
Yeah.
The true version is
That ain't your style. I can tell just by looking. That ain't you. That's the interview version. So I love the truth version.
The true version is that in 2005, I had just
gotta grab my charger.
Yeah.
Plug this in.
Seems like an excellent opportunity to pour myself another glass of wine.
There you go. I plug my laptop in. You get a glass of wine. We'll go. And then we get to talk to Vader, which is always awesome.
Yeah, there you go. In 2005, I had just lost a marriage over quitting my good-paying job and deciding to be a stand-up comedian, and driving to places like Arkansas to make $300 and shit. My wife decided that wasn't a good idea, so she got a boyfriend and left. And best thing that ever happened to me, by the way. I highly recommend it.
Look at it that way. It's great. Have that outlook, that it doesn't like weigh you down and stuff. Like
no, man.
Great. Not a lot of people can do that.
I'm with a fantastic woman now, and we've been together for almost a decade. And I'm a happy old guy.
I'm happy for you. That's great, man.
But I did decide that I needed, because I would show up in these small towns. When you're a no-name comedian, you just drive. You're going through Georgia and Tennessee and West Virginia and all these just different
driving around,
and that you show up at the club and the whoever's the MC for the night, who's not a professional comic, he's like the bar manager.
Yeah.
He's like, so what have you been in? What should I put in your intro when I bring you out? And I had nothing. Yeah. I was just he performs in clubs and casinos all over the country.
Make it up, make a great thing up.
So I decided to lie and say that I had been in a movie. This is pre-IMDb.
Yes, those people couldn't check.
Right.
Yeah, that's great.
Right.
Yeah.
This is 2005. So fuck you if I say I was in this movie.
I was in that goddamn movie.
Right.
Prove me wrong.
So I picked one of my favorite movies of all time, which 3 people have seen, probably. From 1985. It's called Tough Turf. You can't tell me you've seen it.
No.
It was James Spader's first starring role.
Okay.
Robert Downey Jr., one of his first movies. He's like 18 in it.
Yeah.
And Kim Richards, who turned out to be one of the Real Housewives of something or other. And a woman named Olivia Barish, who played the crazy UFO girlfriend in Repo Man.
Okay, all right. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a nice little cast right there.
So I said that I was in this movie. Because prove I wasn't.
Yeah, exactly.
So I put that on my resume. I put that in my bio and stuff. And I actually started to get kind of better gigs doing stand-up. And I decided, because I'm an audacious psychopath, I decided that I was going to, this is in the MySpace days. This is pre-Facebook.
I remember that.
I found Olivia Barish. Olivia Barish on MySpace. And I decided to see how strong my powers of lying were. And I sent her a long ass message on MySpace. And I said, look, I just wanted to say, all these years later, it's 25 years. It was 2005. So what? 15 years later?
Yeah.
25 years later? 20 years later.
Yeah, 20.
Yeah, it was 85.
We have not time to do math.
Yeah, I can't. I'm an actor. I don't do
math. Yeah, it's a while ago.
Yeah, it was a long time ago. So I said, all these years later, I still remember you were the only one. I had a very small role in the movie, but you were the only one of the main cast members who was kind to me. You were really nice to me. And we ate lunch together a couple of times on set, and you were just so sweet and supportive. And I've always appreciated it. And I just wanted to let you know that it's always meant a lot to me. And now I do stand up and I do this and that. And she said back,
she knows you.
I swear on the eyes of my children.
Wow, that is great.
She said, this is how full of shit actors and just show business people in general are.
Yeah.
She sent me back a message saying, Michael, I remember you. I make it a point to remember everyone I've worked with.
Brilliant.
And we became friends.
That's
Like,
fucking amazing.
Like friends.
Yeah.
And she wrote.
What if she saw this? You don't want to see this. Did you ever tell her?
I've told this story a couple of times.
You're safe with me, yeah.
Yeah, I haven't talked to her in a couple of years, but we did a couple of movies together.
Wow.
And one film, I wrote a short film that you can find on YouTube called Victim.
Yeah. When we get off live, then tell me, I'll look it up.
It's called Victim. And if you do Victim and My Name, you'll find it. It's a 16-minute short film. It won a festival award, and she wrote the song that's the intro song to it, wrote and recorded it for the movie. And in 2008, when I was casting my first feature film that I wrote and produced, she was my tour. I went to LA for about a week, and she was my tour guide and took me. She's a recovering addict. She took me to recovery meetings to meet actors.
Oh, okay.
That's how she networked, by going to like 12-step meetings and shit.
It's a pretty smart way to go about that.
Yeah, because everybody is a junkie.
Yeah.
Who's in fucking everybody's an addict.
Gone through the ringer and stuff, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And that is what. So lying about being in a James Spader movie is what kind of got me started. And then I just started thinking maybe I should actually do one.
Yeah.
Or something.
That's awesome.
So the following year, I did my first, that short that I talked about with Mark Metcalf, and then I did a couple other shorts. And then I started getting cast in little indie features and stuff. And I've done 13, 14 films.
Oh, that's great, man.
And
what was the year the first film that you did? What year was that?
2007.
Oh, all right. So it's 13, 14 films since 2007. That's pretty good.
Yeah. A couple of them were like 3 of them were shorts. The rest were features. And I also did a pilot for a Lifetime series. Okay. The Lifetime, the Lady Network.
My mom used to watch that shit all the time.
Yeah.
Maybe she saw you on there once.
With Bo Bridges and Ann Archer. Ann Archer played the wife in Fatal Attraction.
Yeah, I know Fatal Attraction.
And Bo Bridges is, of course, Jeff Bridges' brother.
Yeah.
He's Bo Bridges. And they shot this thing in Chicago, and I had this very small role. And I was on a few episodes of, before Patrick Swayze passed.
Yeah.
He did a show on A&E called The Beast, which was like an FBI show.
Yeah, I don't think I ever saw it, but I've heard
it. It wasn't a good show. It wasn't.
I never really watched it.
Yeah, he played a renegade FBI agent who didn't button his shirt and didn't wear a tie.
That's funny.
And I was on a few episodes of that
every now and then just to be cool.
Yeah, and he and I actually, Jay likes to joke about how I killed Patrick Swayze because he did this show. There was never a second season to The Beast because Patrick died. He passed during the hiatus, so there couldn't be a second season.
Yeah.
But during that first season, when I did the episodes I did, he and I smoke a lot of cigarettes. And
vape. I've been trying to quit vaping, smoking since I'm 16. I'm 30.
Yeah. And
it's like quit.
It is. We were shooting one day at the Chicago Gary International Airport, just outside of Gary, Indiana. And we're doing a location thing there. And when you do television, there's a lot of breaks. There's a lot of stopping and starting. And I would sneak around. We were shooting in this big ass airplane, this hangar on the airport. And I would leave hangar 18. I would leave, and I would go behind the hangar and have a couple of Camels real quick, And I noticed that he noticed that I was leaving set, and I thought, oh shit, I'm getting fired from this gig. And his wife was on the set. She wouldn't let him smoke. He was actively
Yeah, like it was in your head. It was like, yeah, this is done. Like,
right. So his wife was there watching over him, and one of the times, like it was like the fourth or fifth time that day that I snuck out to have a cigarette.
yeah.
He wore these cowboy boots with huge heels.
Mhm.
And I went behind the hangar and I'm having my cigarette and I'm just like, oh God, this is a long ass fucking day, blah, blah, blah. And I was playing an FBI agent. So I'm
having your little chill moment with a cigarette.
Yeah. So I'm just having a cigarette, taking a break, and I hear the cowboy boots coming around the corner.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh shit, I'm getting
like
fired.
The sound of doom heading your way.
Yeah. And he comes around the corner and he looks at me and then he smiles, this big ass. And he says, oh my God, that's what I thought. Give me one, give me one, give me one.
That's awesome too, man.
So we became like smoking buddies on this shoot because his wife wouldn't let him smoke.
Yeah,
he's already dying.
To sneak out with you now. Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah. So I was supplying him with cigarettes, which expedited his death.
There's positives, negatives, shit happens. Can't hang on to it.
Exactly. Nobody needed a Ghost 2 anyway.
No, Ghost is perfect as it is. That is such a fucking funny, hilarious, great.
I love that movie so much.
It's just with Whoopi, he's so great in that. Like,
she was fantastic.
Oh, and the whole Henry VIII IM scene trying to get his attention is hilarious.
Fantastic movie.
Since I first saw that movie when I was a kid, that's how I would annoy people. Like if they weren't paying attention, I start saying I'm Henry VIII IM over and over again until they just feel like, shut the fuck up, please. And then it's so great to annoy people with one of the best annoying songs, I'm sure.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
So, in closing, I guess we'll wrap up here. What do you feel of the reception so far on the movie, and how do you feel it might grow as time goes on?
I'm so grateful and so thrilled with the reception of the movie because I feel like people. I mean, a lot of the things people say about the movie are really complimentary, about my contribution to it. And,
for sure.
And I, of course, appreciate that. And what people forget so much, I feel like actors should get the least amount of attention when a movie is good.
I know. I get what you're saying. Yeah.
Because I'm just essentially a puppet. Yeah, it's sure. if the writing and the editing and the directing and the vision isn't there.
100%.
Yeah. So while I appreciate the attention for my part of it, I wish people had people who wrote scores on their podcasts, and I wish people who had, you know what I mean? Like,
I've always wanted to try writing a score because I've written like 3 albums worth of music over like the last 15 years or so. And I play all the instruments myself because
nice.
I've been in a few bands and stuff, but it's hard to get into a band that it's one like really into it. We go back to how we started, of really being there for the right reasons and committed 100%. This is what I want to do. I want to make music. And the second thing is just finding people that are on your level, whatever your level might be.
Yep.
So it's always been hard for me with that. And I went to the Crane School of Music in SUNY Potsdam. I only went for like a year. Then I just couldn't see me playing Bach and Beethoven and shit for like 4 years straight. So I was like, the classical school here ain't for me. And
but you kind of need it as a foundation. I mean,
yeah, for sure. And like over
metal, a lot of metal is just fucking sped up classical.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. And over the years after that I started, because I self-taught myself every instrument, but guitar at first at 12 years old. I didn't even know that you had to tune a guitar. That's how little I knew about a guitar. Like that, nothing at all about it. That I figured out the first song I ever played. I remember it was Coldplay, In My Place, the opening to that, and I figured out where the frets were, and I figured it out, and I went like 2 days later to play it, and it didn't sound the same. I was like, these are where my fingers were. Like, what the hell's going on? I didn't realize the tuning pegs and stuff. It slips out of tune and stuff. That's how little I knew. And then I just ended up like I had actually an uncle, a cousin who taught me all the basic chords, and I just went from there. I went online. I would just learn by tabs and then by ear if the tabs were wrong, and then I would just play along to albums and stuff, and just that was my practice. And my actually to get into Crane for the audition, I did "Mood for a Day" by Steve Howe. By Yes. And yeah, I kind of it had to be a classical piece, which none of them picked up on the fact that it was a Steve Howe piece from the Yes, progressive rock band from the '70s. But I did actually both Steve Howe. I did his what was it Vivaldi classical rendition that he does. What is it? Concerto in D, maybe that he does. He does on one of his solo albums, acoustic albums.
Oh, I'm not familiar with those.
Yeah, so both Mood for a Day and that one, they're both just Steve Howe.
Nice.
Nice. I just played Steve Howe to get into the Crane School of Music, and they accepted me and stuff. But like I said, it just wasn't feeling it, you know. But just man, such an amazing pleasure talking with you here, seeing your performance and stuff. Like one of, if not the best performance of the year for me. Like you rival Mia Goth and X and Pearl for me. Like my two top horror films of the year. And she's fucking unreal in that. But yeah, like unreal performance, man. And just especially getting to know you now and stuff, and talking to you and seeing just how humble you are now, just chill, and like we have a lot of shit in common with the music and this stuff. And it's just so different from the character of Cactus Jack. And anyone who can take themselves from one like stream of who they really are to a totally different world and really make it that believable is absolutely amazing for me. And you did a phenomenal job.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you for messaging me on Instagram and offering, asking me to watch the film and review it and stuff. I would have never, seen it that early if it wasn't for you. So thank you for that. And thank you for your words on my review. That was really great to hear. I'm saying that it's the first review that you heard or read that someone actually got it, and didn't get distracted by the political.
You were the first one who got it. No, that there have been good reviews, but they were yours
it's the character,
the best thought out reviews I've ever seen.
No, thanks, man. It means a lot, seriously, especially coming from a phenomenal actor. From only doing this channel and reviews and stuff a few months.
Yeah, keep it up, man. Sure. Keep it up.
Yeah, that's one thing. I upload pretty much daily. That's why I've done like 225 films in 5 months.
Damn.
Covered. And I don't know if you've ever seen any of my videos, but I do my videos 25, 45 minutes long.
Yeah, you get in there. You're not just this was good because it was scary.
It's like a deep spoiler discussion, dissection.
Yeah.
And then pointing out all the crazy, stupid shit, and then back to serious film talk and stuff. It's just such a blast to do. And like I said, I wouldn't have met such amazing people who have channels. I wouldn't have met such an amazing actor, and I've interviewed a director or two. It's just such a blast to do because I love film so much and horror especially.
Awesome. And
music is my number one thing. So just being able to play music whenever I want, and then having this for the other biggest passion, it's just amazing. It's an absolute blessing for that. But thanks so much for coming on, man. I was definitely excited to have you on here and talk about this movie and your background and everything. And thanks.
Absolutely. Yeah, man. Thanks for having me. This was fun. It was great talking to you.
Absolutely, man. And I'll probably try jumping on Al's if you want to jump on Al's.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna
do that. It's like the after party of this.
Yeah,
then we'll go to the after party at Al's place. So I don't know if one person's watching. So all right, guys, everyone who watched, thanks so much, and we will see you soon. I'll have some videos up later tonight. Right, take care, guys. How do I end this shit? All right, you're off to you.
All right.
Thanks so much for coming, man. That was awesome.
Yeah, man, this was fun.